I used to live a life that felt endless, 78-hour work weeks with no rest and no meaning, just repeating the same exhausting cycle over and over. And then everything changed. When I opened my eyes again, I was no longer in my world. I had become a noble in a completely different one. At first, it almost felt like a blessing, a second chance, a life where I could finally breathe. Yeah, it sounded good, but something about it did not sit right with me. As I stare at the strange book in my hands, the letters begin to move on their own, forming words I should not even be able to understand. What the hell does this even say? I mutter, trying to make sense of it, and yet somehow I can read it. That is when it hits me. This world is not as simple as I thought, because despite being a noble, I am completely useless here. No knowledge, no power, not even basic literacy. Just an empty title in a world that clearly expects more. And for the first time since I got here, I realize this might not be a blessing at all. Young master, your meal is ready. The moment I hear that, I already know this life is completely different. I step into the dining hall, and for a second, I just stop. The table is filled with food, more than I have ever seen in one place. Back in my old life, I barely had time to eat properly, and now all of this is for me. Oh, I did not even realize it, but I'm already eating, and yeah, it is insanely good. That was good. I mutter without thinking. For a moment, it actually feels like I have made it. Like maybe this life is not so bad after all. Then, are you done? I will help you with your bath before bed. What? I freeze. Wait, help me. Before I can even react, the next thing I know, I am sitting in a bath, and not alone. My brain completely shuts down, because surrounding me are maids, helping me like this as if it is completely normal. And that is when it hits me again. Being the young master of a count's family in this world means living a life that is far too comfortable, almost unreal. Yeah, this is the life, warm bath, people taking care of me, no stress, no deadlines. For a moment, I lean back and enjoy it. If this is my new reality, I could get used to this. But then a thought hits me. I do not even know where I am. Everything feels comfortable, but at the same time completely unfamiliar. The young masters will be returning tomorrow, so please sleep early tonight. The maid says softly, her tone calm and respectful. Returning? Wait, who? The words slip out before I could stop myself. Young masters Leo and Tonio. The maid says, slightly confused. Huh. My mind goes blank for a second. Leo. Tonio. Why does that sound so familiar? Why do you speak as if you do not know your own family? The maid asks, her brows furrowing in concern. My family? Palacio. I repeat slowly, trying to make sense of it. The moment I hear that name, something clicks. A strange sense of recognition hits me, like I have heard it before somewhere. And suddenly, that comfortable feeling from before completely disappears. Because if I'm remembering this right, this might be far worse than I thought. Young master, their voices suddenly sound distant, like everything around me is fading. Before I can even react, my body sinks, straight into the water. Cold, heavy, and then everything goes dark. Wait, what is this? My eyes snap open, but I'm no longer in the bath. I am underwater. No, this is not normal. The space around me feels distorted and unreal, like I've been pulled into something else entirely. Wait, am I in psychedelia? The words slip out instinctively. The moment I say it, a screen appears, floating right in front of me. Psychedelia. The name alone sends a chill down my spine, because I recognize it. This is not just anything, it is a game, a turn-based RPG, and somehow I am inside it. It is a turn-based RPG, a game I used to play whenever I had time. Back when my life was nothing but work, this was my escape. But there is one thing about this game, one thing I cannot ignore. No matter which route you take, the moment the 5 great sins appear, everything falls apart. Wrath, greed, sloth, pride, obsession. Each one of them is not just powerful, they are disasters, walking calamities that drag everything down with them. Kingdoms collapse, nobles lose everything, and anyone caught in their path does not survive. And now I am here, inside that same world, the same game I used to play so casually, which means this is not just some fantasy life anymore. This is a countdown. And if I do not figure something out before they appear, I'm going down with everything else. And among all of that chaos, there is one family I cannot ignore. The Palatial House. A noble family, but not the kind you would want to be part of. Troublemakers, every single one of them. The kind that drags everyone down with them. The eldest son, Leo Palatial, a man completely drowned in lust and corruption. The so-called king of prostitutes. Then the second son, Tonio Palatial, a walking disaster fueled by greed. The king of drugs. And that is not even the worst part, because this entire family is just a sub-quest. Something that gets wiped out before the main story even begins. Yeah, I know this place way too well. So, I really did end up here. The words come out quietly, but my mind is already racing. Because if I am right, then this is not just bad luck. This is the worst possible starting point. And if I do not change something fast, I will not even make it to the main story. Then a screen pops up right in front of me. Like the game itself is confirming everything I just thought. Subquest I. Investigate the Asteria Kingdom's Palatial House. You have got to be kidding me. My eyes lock onto the text. The Palatial House is involved in prostitution and drug trafficking, running an entire underground organization. Yeah, that sounds exactly like them. A choice appears. Enter. Turn back. As if I even have a choice. This is not a game I can just quit anymore. I stare at the mansion in front of me and let out a dry laugh. Are you kidding me right now? Because I know how this plays out. I have seen it before, over and over again. The Palacios are the first to fall. The moment the 5 great sins start moving, they get completely wiped out. No exceptions. This was always the easiest route. Easy EXP, quick progression, a disposable storyline. But now I am not the player anymore. I am part of it. Extra villain. Palatial House's third son, Alan Palatial. That is me. For a moment, I just stare at the name, trying to process it. Then it sinks in. I did not just end up in this world. I ended up as someone who was never meant to survive. Please, I want to go back to being a 78-hour work slave. Yeah, that is how bad this is. So what if I am living in luxury? If I die here, that is it. This is worse. Way worse than before. 6 months. That is all this family has before everything falls apart. How am I supposed to survive? I clench my jaw. Without a single useful power. Wait, powers. Right. Knowing what happens in the next 10 years is basically like being a prophet. Then why do I not just remove the cause? Before everything falls apart? And so I make a decision. I will deal with the 5 great sins before everything begins. It should be possible. They're still just kids. Right. Even if I have 0 power. 2 months later, we shut down the East Orphanage. No. A human testing center, and handed it over to a girl named Yusha. It looks like things are already changing. Evan, my knight. HM, my eyes are precise. You really are skilled. Evan says calmly. Right. That is a compliment, right? I cannot really tell from your face. I say. Yeah, of course. Evan replies flatly. Evan, I look forward to working with you. I say. Yeah. I do not think I will get used to that anytime soon. He used to be easy to read. Everything showed on his face. But now I cannot tell what he is thinking at all. It feels like this body just does not show anything. Anyway, thanks for the compliment, young master. Evan says, scratching his head. Evan is one of the rare ones in this game. Someone who actually stays loyal no matter what happens. You said we save a girl named Yusha, right? Evan asks. Yeah. I reply. I can see why. Even to me. Evan says, his voice lowering. She was not normal. She is no ordinary kid. She was dangerous. The kind you do not understand why. But you feel anyway. Why did you not bring her here? Evan asks. There is no benefit in keeping her there. You are right. I say. It probably looks like I just left her behind. Like I am doing nothing. But that is not it. Leaving her, there is part of the plan. Yusha Block. A non-human who made a contract for power. And later becomes Wrath, one of the 5 great sins. A monster who kills countless people. But that is later. For now, she should not become Wrath. Good. I lean back slightly. I just cleared one landmine. I will just make up an excuse. I say. Well, you know. Evan looks at me, confused. It is not time yet, I say. Not time. Evan repeats. Yeah. I add, make sure no one talks about this if the sponsor finds out. I understand. Evan nods. And give this to Yusha, I say, handing it over. A letter. Evan asks, is it important? It is just to check on her. I reply, I figured she's been through a lot. A letter of reassurance. Evan nods. I will make sure she gets it, though I do not know if it will really reassure her. The real reason for that letter is something I have heard over and over again, a line tied to her future. The moment she becomes Wrath, it is already too late. That is how it always goes. In the game, every attempt to save her fails, and the fight begins. But this time, it might not be too late. One is taken care of. Now it is time to move to the next target. It is not bad. It freed up some time at least. Maybe it will help, working in this world instead of the other one. Still, it is hard to understand them. I mean, they are basically fanatics. The mana I feel from her is unbelievable. It is heavy and suffocating. She is strange. It is like she has no emotions. Not even a flicker on her face. She just stands there, staring down at me like I am nothing. You said Mr. Allen was the one who sent this letter, she says in a cold, emotionless tone. Yeah, that is right. But something feels off. Way too off. Why do you not want me by his side? She asks in a low, pressing tone. What? Because manifesting mana in this world is only possible in the master realm. It is not yet time, I say, keeping my voice steady. Why yes, timing, he stutters. He said that it is not yet time. He adds, trying to explain. I see. She looks down at the letter, quietly reading it. This is a promise that only Master could make. I get it, she says in a calm, resolved tone. That pressure eases, just a little, but I can tell this is not over yet. I get what he means, she says in a soft, understanding tone. The atmosphere shifts. That crushing pressure disappears. She smiles, but is not warm. It is something else, something dangerous. Sin of Wrath, daughter of monsters, bloody Queen Yusha. So this is her, one of the 5. Meanwhile, I have managed to extend my luxurious life by a bit. Even the bright moon feels like it is cheering me on. I will work on the next one as well. Yeah, one step at a time. Ack. The books come crashing down. Guess I got careless. TSK, it is not here after all. So the information was wrong, or someone already moved it. Young master, we have rescued the second child you mentioned, the maid says in a respectful tone. Already? That was fast. Have you made sure to treat the child very kindly? I ask. Of course, after saving the child from the illegal slave market. The maid replies in a confident tone. Good. Dang, if it is not Alan. He grins. Second son of the county, Palacio Tonio. Trouble. Right on cue. He is an illiterate guy. Yet you're holding a book at night. I hear you've been studying recently. Hey, answer this brother of yours. He looks down at me, calm but sharp. He has always been like this. A harsh, straightforward older brother. Always the type to use force first. I would like to strike back, but it seems you want to use the library, so I will take my leave. For now, I step away. No need to clash here. Know your place, all right? Crash. He does not hesitate. Straight to violence. You insects are getting too loud. What the? He steps in. His voice calm but heavy. I do not want to see blood first thing in the morning. That tone is not anger. It is authority. First son of the county, Leo Palacio. Brother, I told you, drop that shallow attitude when you step into the library. You reek of drugs. Enjoy it while you still can. Their faces nearly touch. The tension is thick enough to cut. And yet, the one on the ground does not resist. Not weakness, but calculation. The Palacio County vanished early in the game, forgotten by most. But that was only on the surface. A system notification appears. Subquest. Investigate the Palacio County of the Asteria Kingdom. So they were not insignificant. Not at all. Their power was far greater than expected. Basically, things are about to get complicated. The 2 brothers are fighting over the position of head of the family. Not out of honor, but greed. One controls the underground, the prostitution king. The other rules the trade, the drug king. Both rotten, both dangerous. I cannot waste time dealing with these 2. when my real problem is something else entirely. Whoosh. He moves. Fast. Decisive. Not here to get dragged into their petty war. There is something far more important waiting. Boom. The shock wave ripples through the room. Books scatter. The air trembles. And just like that, it is over. He does not chase. He does not press further. I'm going to live quietly. As a weak, incompetent noble. Not a declaration, but a decision. A mask he chose to wear. He then suddenly collapses in his room out exhaustion. TSH. The second child did not meet my expectations either. No anger. No disappointment. Just cold judgment. As if they were never worth his time to begin with. His body feels heavy. His mind still catching up. Silence hangs between them. How did someone like him end up in the illegal slave market? And why does he act like nothing happened? Something does not add up. Even now, there is no panic. No fear. Just quiet confusion. It seems he is having a hard time holding himself together. Not physically, but mentally. Like he is forcing himself to stay composed. Young master, you are quite strange. You sent the child to the orphanage. A simple answer. No hesitation. But his thoughts do not stop there. Did he not say, that child was not ordinary? A quiet pause. As everything starts to connect, he leans back, his eyes narrowing slightly. That was not just a warning. It was an understatement. He is not merely unusual. He is something on a catastrophic level.